Hi, guys. Welcome to Chakra Sessions. I'm your host, Polly Jo Labbe. Um, and we're here to talk about chakra balancing. Um, it's something. Hi, Ellen. Nice to have you in the house. It's something that comes up every so often, that it's time to talk about how to keep our chakras in balance once again. Because as we go through stress and changing energy around us, sometimes it's hard to stay balanced. And that's what we're here to do today. And a big shout out to my partner in crime there, Rob, who you might have seen for a flash second as he drives the bus. So that I can do my thing. I'm glad to be here. So welcome, Carol. I see Carol is in the house. Hello, back to you. Um, yeah, I've been noticing, I'm sure you guys have too, that as we stepped into this new spring energy on Saturday, um, things are a little wobbly. um, some of the weather has been wobbly. There's been a lot of wind or rain, and pockets of sunshine, which have been great. But there's that sensation of, okay, we need to tiptoe a little bit. The economy and things are starting to open up a little bit, but we're cautious. So when we're in that energy of being cautious or stressed out, we definitely go into this place of um, our old fears might surface, our old energy might come to the forefront. I've had a number of clients in the last couple weeks who have sort of like old patterns that are surfacing, difficulty communicating with different people, family or in business, or things in the family are shifting, and so they're getting ready to clear. So all of those things are really important that we take a look at them and we see, basically what can we do to keep ourselves in a more connected place, a more centered place. And that's what chakra balancing is about. It's taking the energy of, what's our foundation and making sure it's steady, and then checking out to make sure that our flow and our communication and our creativity are moving. um, Maybe calming down some stress or overwhelm. And maybe a little anger, frustration, resentment, judgment kind of energy. All of that's been on tap for different clients this week. And how do you keep your heart space open? That has been another one of those things. Like, how do we keep our heart wide open when we're feeling a little unsteady or a little anxious, or a little worried? Because all of those things can really impact how we interact with each other and how we take action. I've been noticing a lot of people being in freeze mode, and it may not be from trauma. It might not be a trauma response, but it's that caution of, we don't know what's coming next. And so sometimes we freeze in the unknown rather than getting excited for something new. Sometimes we're a little uncertain, and in the uncertainty, our inner self is like, let's wait back and hold back and see what happens first before we do anything. And that can work to a degree, but many of us have been kind of holding back for over a year now. So we're ready to really feel comfortable in our surroundings, in our environment, in our body, so that we can actually move forward and do some different things. And that's where our chakras come into play. I get really excited about um, checking in on the chakras because they're really the the wheels, the engines of our whole existence. So if we're not firing on all pistons, we can't really present ourselves and do things the way we want to. And we all know when we hold back from, fear in different ways. And it can be fear of success. It doesn't have to be fear of failure. And all those things can set our chakras off. And, we entered this new season as we go from spring and we start to lean into summer. There are things that people feel like maybe they should have gotten done already. I should have cleaned my garden and gotten things planted. I should have, um, washed my windows, or I should have lost that corona weight so that I could get ready to wear a bathing suit. Um, and we start to feel the Detroit Pistons. Yeah, no, I don't think the Detroit Pistons are in my chakras, but I'm sure the Detroit Pistons are very strongly attached to some people's chakra systems in the Detroit area. Whenever we're a super fan of any sport, we definitely will take on some of that energy. We will them to win. We will them to do better. And so we invest a lot of our energy system in helping out with that. And to the point where we might deplete our own. And we've seen that many times when you're rooting for a particular team and you're backing a particular political figure, maybe even. All of those things that we invest so much of our steam into, we don't even realize that we've given a bunch of ourselves away. I love that, Rob. Sports are a secular religion, according to Nelson Mandela. Yes, I believe so too. We definitely worship. We have false idols when it comes to that. We definitely worship our players. We worship particular teams. And Don Luis, Miguel Ruiz, I think that's it. Yes. Who wrote the 4 Agreements. He has a book also called The 5 Levels of Attachment. And many people are fanatic in their connection to their sports teams. So it's like we're basically in an unhealthy relationship. And that is, it's when it's a religion. And you can see that for sure, Rob, where, people go through all the rituals that you would, they have to wear their lucky shirt and the certain socks, and they've got to, do so many prayers ahead of time, and they've got to touch the wall or whatever it is, as part of their showing their faith in their team. And sometimes it's connected to the divine, or their version of the divine. But, it's interesting. The movie Invictus, I don't think I'm saying that right, was about that. The Rugby World Cup on 1995. South Africa built itself as a nation through that. Yeah. It is a great coming together. And, our chakras actually do connect to that, because we lend our energy to any relationship that we're connected to. And that includes our community, that includes our connection to sports teams, that connects to our energy connected to our religion, our culture, our family of origin, our ancestral roots, things like that. We actually use some of our energy in connection to that. And when we do that, we can really build that unified momentum. Like we see it all the time where, like, one person can think of an idea, but then when two people are behind it, it gets a little momentum, and then three, and then four, and as it builds speed, that starts to take on a life of its own. So, for instance, I spent most of my time in Massachusetts. So Patriot Nation has its own entity. It has its own energy system. And people definitely feed it with their own energy. So, and when teams are having a hard time, it's because they're not in balance. And coaches will think of that from the thoughts about, they start working on basics. They start from the ground up. You hear that a lot. It's time to rebuild the team from the ground up. And basically, it's starting a new foundation. It's giving everybody something to energetically believe in. And we all had that with our families. You grew up, even if your household of origin was not the greatest, you still had a place that felt anchored, that felt home. And you built your belief systems and your security based on what you experienced. And then when you left your family of origin, you took a lot of that with you. As we get older, we get to choose what we want to keep and what we want to discard from those original beliefs. But sometimes we don't even know we have them. And those are all in charge of how your chakras are running. So, if there was financial insecurity, say, with your family at any point when you were growing up, maybe you had to move, or your breadwinner family member, maybe they changed jobs, anything that might have influenced you about money. Well, right now, with things being a little bit uncertain, your root chakra might be having trouble. And if it's having that difficulty, that's going to impact how you interact with other people. If you're feeling a little insecure, do you think you're going to just openly trust somebody and go into partnership with them? No, you're going to hold back a little bit of yourself, and you're going to be cautious. It's just how we work. But if we get our chakras balanced and centered, then we are lined up to really allow our intuition to take over, for our connection to our higher self to come in, for us to be in alignment to hear our spiritual team more clearly. And even if that's, being able to have dreams where you're able to communicate or receive communication, it can be huge. So hi, Julie. I see Julie Shumway Hales in the house too. Nice to have you. Glad you're here. I just love that picture of you, by the way. I always love little sweeties. The snuggles is one of my favorite things. One of the nice things about living here in Maine is that I can take my daily walks at the ocean and at the beach. And today it was so great to see a busload of kids at the beach for a field trip. I know they were learning about something about marine life and things like that, but seeing them be able to run around and be out on the sand, and then later go on the playground, and then they were in the park that was next door, and throwing frisbees around. It was just like so nice to see that normalcy happening. And that's another thing, like how normal our our lives and our routines right now. If they're back to normal, maybe that root chakra is trying to stabilize and you feel a little calmer and you're like, phew, okay, we're good. We're going to be fine. But some people, you have jobs and lives that have quite a bit of stress all the time. There's fluctuation all the time. And so it's really crucial for you to check in and see, how's my energy system doing today? It's something I tap into every morning. I balance my chakras every morning. I think of it as setting off on a good foot. It's not that I got unbalanced in my sleep, but at the end of the day, when you're a little bit tired, might not be the ideal time. But some people really are able to do that at night. And the nice thing is, here we are at night, we're going to get you all balanced up and you'll probably have a really nice sleep, which I'm hoping for all of you and for me too. Because sleep has been different, I think, for a lot of people. People who have intuition and psychic abilities, you may be having a lot of disturbed sleep because the new vibration and the new paradigm shift is really opening up some new channels for people. So, maybe you were getting your information on one channel and it's gone up to 5. That's quite a bit. I think about back in the ancient days when we had to actually turn the dial on the television. You had to get up and change the channel. Then we only had a few channels, right, that we could get. And then when we got cable, it was like, boom, we've got all of these. So the new paradigm, Rob, that's a good question, is basically why we've been having the circumstances we're having. We are moving, the earth plane is moving into the 4th dimension, 5th dimension. It's on its way. And as part of that, we're on the earth, so we're going with her. And if we're holding on to old 3rd dimensional thought, it's actually causing us a lot of distress, emotional distress, physical pain. It's activating tons of fear, which we're seeing all over the place. And in terms of what the earth is doing, she's been purging her energy. We had all of those fires. And Julie, me either. She burned off all that energy. Yeah, I'm going to go over that in a second, Rob. But we're seeing the releasing through her chakras. So it started with some of the, there was some, earthquakey kind of stuff that happened initially. Then she moved into her 2nd chakra. So we had a lot of flooding, hurricanes and a lot of floods that kind of washed things away on a lot of islands and things like that. And the coast, along the coastal line. And then all the fire outbreaks. That's 3rd chakra clearing for her. And anywhere she needs it, it's going to be where it happens. Now that we're moving into sort of the heart and the lungs, that's the wind. So we're going to, you may see a lot of hurricane winds and tornadoes and things like that, that may need to occur. And that will help move her energy through her system. So Julie is saying she did not get a break from COVID and she's feeling burnt out. Yes. One of the things that I noticed is that, the people who got the break during COVID, they maybe, my husband is one, things just didn't come together the way they were supposed to. And he basically got almost a year off. Not completely, But in that year off, we moved, we had to get things settled. And I mean, he was busy the whole time, but taking care of our foundation, really getting the foundation laid for us to be here. Um, and so that my healing practice and my school could create a new foundation with the move. So he really was grounding that energy for us. And so that was his work. And now the shift has come for him to go into work. And last year, I was working 24/7 for a number of months. And those of you who watched me on Star Nations saw the burnout happen. And I had to step away from Star Nations because the amount of work I had in terms of clients and people who were in such dire need of clearing and support and managing all of the chaos. I had to be in intense healer mode. And now I'm coming back into this. I'm feeling, replenished, but I noticed even myself that I was starting to have I'm having a little burnout again. Um, and I was excited because my spiritual team tends to clean up my schedule for me. So like I have a couple of days off that they're mine. My phone's going to be off. That's it. And I love my clients. I love my students. But I need to fill my cup or I can't actually be there for them. And one of the things that has been coming up, Julie, about that is my team has been talking about extreme self-care. Self-care is like the hot button topic of a lot of, in a lot of spiritual classes, the usual take a tubby, go out in nature, get a massage, meditate, maybe do some light exercise, drink a lot of water, things like that. Have always been the ways to sort of sustain. And my team has been really clear that that's not enough. That's not enough for this energy. So things like, I have my nightly ritual now of really honoring my body and the fact that it's a physical vehicle for my soul and my spirit. So I give myself a full, body massage. And even when I'm super tired, I at least do my hands and my feet and my head. And I use like lavender oil to really to calm everything down. And, I'm drinking a lot more water, probably at least more than double what I used to drink. And that helps quite a bit. But taking that time off, and that time off isn't being spent in your house doing more stuff. Like part of me was like, oh, I have a couple days off, then I can, I can clean my office and I can, do this in my bathroom that I wanted to do. And it's like, no. No doing, just being, um, sleeping, without an alarm and going, you know, somewhere and just sitting outside, and disconnecting. Those are all things that are really important. And most of us missed vacations during COVID. So time we would have gotten off, we didn't get off. And some people working from home meant you were even more accessible. So boundaries on like, this is my time and this is your time, were difficult, and I think you moved as well. And so that definitely doesn't help either. Um, so Rob said, oh, Martina. Yeah, go ahead, Martina. A lot of pain in many ways. Yes. With our chakras, people think about, oh, we have these 7 chakras, but they don't necessarily realize that they have different dimensions. So the chakra integrates with our physical body. So when it's really clogged, we have physical pain in certain parts of our body. And then its second layer is the emotions that are connected to that chakra. And any emotion can be in any chakra. We can have an emotional response. We can be sad about our family home, or we can be sad about um, our feeling of self-worth. We can be sad about unexpressed grief. We can be sad about unexpressed creativity, and all of those are in different chakras. So the second layer is the emotional layer. So we have all these emotions, and then outside of that is the mental layer, and that's all about our thoughts and our beliefs that we've been carrying around. And this upheaval that we've been going through really has a lot of people weighing their thoughts and their beliefs. Like, oh, maybe I need to shift that. Maybe that doesn't work anymore. And in that questioning, we're shaking up that layer, and stuff is being released. And when it gets released, if we're not aware of it, it's going to end up in our emotions. So then we start to have an emotional reaction to our thoughts. And then we start to have physical pain. And really, they're all like radar pings of, hey, you've got stuck energy that's ready to clear. And there is no stuck energy without pain. Like, if you're having stuck energy, it's going to show up in one of those things. You'll have spinning thoughts where you can't sleep, or you'll be having like an emotional reaction, upheaval, overwhelm, anxiety, worry coming in, or anger or sadness. And then it drops down and it starts being physical pain. That's when it's super stuck and it's super dense and it's time for us to move it. So there are so many people who are having neck and head pain right now, or pain in the middle of their back and their upper shoulders, or their lower back, the lower back and the hips, or anywhere in the legs. And a lot of trouble with their teeth, because those are all part of our root chakra. And Julie says, yes, we moved as well, and I'm still not settled in. Yes, that just really gets that root chakra unhappy. We want it to be happy, but when we don't feel rooted, we've been transplanted. When we move, we get transplanted, and it takes a little while, right, for a plant to reestablish, regrow the roots, really. And you don't know when you repot it, if it's gonna if it's gonna hold on and make it. And so we're the same way. We need to do things that help us feel calm and settled in our new space. And what are we doing to water ourselves? What are we doing to, give ourselves a break? Those are all huge things. So Martina says, do I meditate to move it out? I want these blocks gone. Yes. That's the short answer. And, getting healing, or if where the pain is, and you ask that it start to break apart out of your physical body, your emotional body, your mental body, ask it to return to creator in its fullest, highest vibration, it will start to go. And it's a great thing to work on with a healer. It's something, that, when my clients are having physical pain, we look at, obviously we look at the chakra and what it's connected to, but when I'm doing the healing work, I often will get a hit of, okay, I'm feeling that it's connected to this. And then it gives them a jumping off point for doing their meditation and doing their clearing and saying mantras that help release it. My Down and Dirty Quick and Easy book to help you with that is an oldie but goodie. If you don't already have it, it's Louise Hay's How to Heal Your Life, or How to Heal Your Body. They both have these fantastic charts in them that take the body part that's hurting or been hurting, and it tells you why or what the energy that might be stuck in it. And it gives you mantras and affirmations that you can say to help release it. So you can do that throughout your day, and you can do it while you're meditating. It's fantastic. That's one of the first books I do with my students because it works. It's a great self-healing book. So if you don't have it, go grab that. And I love Ellen saying, spinning me. Ellen has worked with me, and her and I have had definite times where, when the mind gets going, and once it gets going, it's hard to stop it, because it just it thinks of another thing. I always think of, from Sesame Street, I think it's Tully Monster, who would say, well, what if this happens? And what if this happens? And what if this happens? They get all caught in the worry. And their friends just lovingly, are like walking them across the street, and they're like, yeah, you made it to the other side, and none of those things happened. But we all have that. We all have that times when that energy takes over. I think of that as your intellect, but in terms of chakra energy, it's when your ego, your third chakra, is running your brain. So there's like this circuit of like fire energy that's in charge of your thoughts. So just imagine that your thoughts are on fire. Yeah, you'd be spinning and you'd be running away from the fire. So you keep running these laps. That's how that goes. So Julie says that especially when I'm too busy doing to grow roots. Yeah, that's really key. One of the things that I did when we were first moving in and I was very busy is that I set up at least one space in my house that was like my sacred space. So when we moved here, you can all see my this is my office, but it's also a place where I feel very grounded. And it's got all my Winnie the Poohs in it, so it's my inner child feels like they have a place and they feel safe. So it was really crucial. This room got done before any other room, so that no matter how much chaos was going on around me, I had one place where I could feel grounded. And then we did our living room, actually, because that's sort of central to the whole family, being able to feel comfortable and grounded together there. And then the bedroom. And I'm still working on some of the other rooms, but at least those ones feel relatively settled. I do still have some stuff that needs a little clearing and putting away. But in general, if you can focus on one little thing, when I moved, I did like one one box a day, or I did organized one little corner a day. And I set a 15-minute timer. So I just promised myself I would work on it for 15 minutes, even though I was so busy. And then once you got going, sometimes you would do another 15. And I play music when I'm doing that, if I can, because then I get into singing and dancing and doing it at the same time, and it doesn't feel so much like work. And then it also starts to feel more like home. I don't know if that helps. Um, so Martina says, I really hate to say this. I've spent a lot of money on someone to help. I'm still where I was. Yeah, that can happen for sure. I know a lot of people who have done therapy and they enjoy having that time, but they don't necessarily feel progress. And there are certain healers that they're just healing the symptom, not the root. So, if you're talking about a healer, you want to look for somebody who's going to go at the root of why you're having the symptom. Because otherwise, you're right, you're not going to get a whole lot of progress. Like when I do healing work, we try to go back as far as we can. We even go back through past lives that might be influencing what you're experiencing now. And it might not happen in one healing, but it'll happen in a handful. And then that makes room for you to work on the next thing. But something that is causing you physical pain, it's been there a while. So it takes a little time for it to really release, but it totally can, especially if they give you homework that you can work on for yourself. Because that's what your team is. That's what your team is supposed to look like. They're there to support you, but not do it for you. Does that make sense? I hope. Oh yes, the book. Thank you, Ellen, for saying it. Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. Yes. And if you can, there was a special edition, and it's really, really colorful. I like reading that one better because it's more colorful. The other one looks more like a textbook. You Can Heal Your Body looks a little more like a textbook, but the one that's purple and red with hearts on it, I love that one, and I open it and use it all the time. So that's where those are all things that you can do to start helping your body. And what's really cool about the connection to Louise Hay is that all of those things are related to your chakras. Anything to do with your lower, from your hips down, that's all your root chakra. All of your bones are your root chakra, and your hair and your teeth, because they're your foundation, right? They're what your body is built on, and your skin. And then, your second chakra really runs, your lower digestive system, all your reproductive organs. It supports your lower back. Everybody who has sciatic, that's a first and second chakra thing. So that's really key. And all the digestive stuff you might be having, a lot of people have been having, upset stomachs or anxiety or panic attacks, maybe kidney stones, or maybe you've been putting on weight. That pancreas is a little out of whack. And I know a lot of people during the pandemic, maybe were drinking a little bit more because they were trying to calm the energy that they were feeling, by pushing it down or numbing it. And all of that's kind of volcano exploding right now. So those are all part of those are just little tiny things about what can go wrong with our energy system when we're not in balance. And lots of times we use the verbiage anyways. We say we're feeling unsteady, we're feeling uncertain, um, you know, or we're feeling a little wobbly. Those are all things. I mean, I can't even tell you how many people I know who had vertigo last year. That's a huge sign of not being steady. And yes, it's impacting your head and your sight. It's because at the foundation, in your root chakra, in the foundation of who you are, your perception needed to change. And so it was causing dizziness. How many people are having dizziness and headaches right now as part of the shift in the ascension in the energy field? Tons. And it's no surprise to me. It's a side effect, for some of the vaccines is some people are having a headache. And it's like, yeah, because you are going through this shift. And that's one more, the perception of life, the way it is, needs to change because we've changed. So how cool is that? So let's do a chakra balancing meditation because that way it's out there for you guys to use whenever you need it. And, if you're feeling wobbly or uncertain or unsteady at any point, you can go back to our YouTube channel and just put it back on. Fast forward to the meditation and it's right there for you. And that's the really cool thing about having these sessions with you guys is we're creating a healing library just for you. You can scroll through, like see what matches, you and what you need. So there you have it. So let's get started on the healing. I've always got to get myself a little more centered. So let's just try to get ourselves calm. Maybe take a couple of deep breaths. Really get centered. And we're going to welcome in the divine, however we perceive that, whether we sense that as God or Goddess, all that is oneness, consciousness. We ask the divine to surround and protect us in a bubble of infinite love and infinite light, allowing us space to feel calm and steady, supported and nurtured. And we set the intention for this healing meditation to be for the good of all and harm to none, including ourselves. And we welcome in our spiritual team from all directions to connect to us and through us of the highest, fullest, and brightest vibration available to us in this moment. Our angels, our guides, our ancestors, the star beings, our animal totems, and our animal and mystical connections, all the elements. And we're just going to begin by asking our heart to ground us and connect us to Grandmother Earth. anchoring us and rooting us. And as our heart connects to her heart, just becoming more aware of our physical body and allowing the tension, the stress, and the tightness to release as our grounding cord goes deep within the earth, getting thicker and wider as it goes. And connecting to the center of the earth, so that we feel grounded and supported in this moment. Inviting the divine energy above to come and connect to us through our crown, anchoring also in our heart so that we feel deeply grounded and connected to our spirit, our soul, and the divine creator. And we're going to check in with our root chakra near our tailbone, sensing its brilliant red color. And asking the orb to fill with divine light as it releases any old and stuck energy that had us feeling unsteady or insecure, anxious. Bringing it to its full potential, even just for this moment. And moving into our second chakra, just below the navel. Releasing any unhealthy relationships that we've had with people or things. Bringing back into balance our creative being, our connection to flow, abundance, feeling that orange color, restoring to balance, bringing that chakra to its highest potential in this moment. Moving into our third chakra and our solar plexus. quieting any nervousness, any fear, any frustration or anger, calming the fires within, bringing them back into balance in that beautiful yellow, our own personal sun, inviting it to shine brightly out in each and every direction. Bringing it into balance and its fullest potential in this moment. And connecting to our heart, releasing any grief we've held on to, any disappointment or sadness, any shame or blame that we've taken, and allowing that to dissolve. Making more space for our air to flow freely so that we can breathe in and receive divine love and inspiration. Filling with the green and the pink of the heart and the physical and the spiritual realms. Gathering together in unconditional love and light. And filling once more to its fullest potential in this moment. Moving into allowing all of the words that went unspoken to be released out of the throat, out of the spinning thoughts of our head. Connecting to our authentic truth and full self-expression. Bringing that beautiful blue color into its vibrant state. Releasing any pain in our shoulders and our neck. Where we have controlled, held back, or even stopped our voice from being spoken, our creativity from being unleashed. And filling this chakra to its fullest potential. And connecting to our third eye, quieting the intellect, the chatter, making space for quiet so that you can hear the divine communication, sense it, know it, welcoming in serenity and allowing ourselves to connect to all of our senses as well as our intuition to guide our thoughts and our perception. Opening our ears so that we can hear and be heard more fully, and bringing that brilliant purple color to its fullest potential and its brightest light. Moving up to the crown, clearing away any doubt, worry, or dis-ease we have felt, expanding our possibilities, reigniting our trust and our faith, welcoming in the divine light to flow over us, cleansing and clearing and releasing anything else that would like to go, any places where our body is tight, uncomfortable, where emotions would like release, where thoughts would like grounding. And taking a moment of gratitude for our spiritual teams connecting and guiding us through the meditation, and to our spirit for having us come together to restore balance once more, even if only for a few moments. Now take a couple of deep breaths. And with each breath, just reconnect more deeply with your body. Feel your connection to your legs and your arms, your back. Feel your connection to whatever you are sitting or laying on. Oh. And you can gently stretch or yawn, whatever you need. Start to come back into yourself. So welcome back. I hope that helped a little bit. I always enjoy getting my chakras in balance. And Rob shared the trinitymysticalenergy.com. That's my website. There's actually an oil for chakra balancing. So if you have difficulty, there's an oil that you can purchase called the Chakra Balance that helps you train your energy body to balance your chakras. Um, remind it how to do it. Because we've gotten a little disconnected from that. And the chakra balance just helps you remember how to get them lined up, and help you stay a little bit grounded. So feel free to check that out. And then there's information about my healing services and about the school that I teach for energy healing, and personal growth and transformation, which is now online and in person, which I'm enjoying very much. The new format has been very lovely. It's creating a stronger foundation, for the work that's being done, because we meet weekly, instead of just um, a few times a year. So that's been very helpful, which I'm enjoying, as I said. So here you are, with a tool to help steady things as they feel a little uncomfortable. Maybe you feel, hopefully you feel a little more serene, a little more grounded. And, the information is there for you whenever you need it. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our page, on YouTube. Remember, our channel is Trinity Mystical Energy. And subscribing is the same thing on YouTube as liking on Facebook. It lets you know when we're up and running. And I'll be having more sessions. We have our weekly session every. Thank you, Rob. Um, our weekly session is every Thursday at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. But we will be having some additional, like mini classes that we're going to be having there, for people, so you can learn how to use certain tools. So, keep an eye out. We're going to have some cool stuff that's there. So thank you guys for being here and helping us as we transition from Facebook onto YouTube. But you can still like and share this out there into, Facebook land. That would be great. And I will see you next time on Chakra Sessions with Polly Jo Labbe. And thanks again to Rob for being my co-pilot. And thank you for helping me do my mission, which is to heal the healers, because we all are here to heal this planet. And we can only do it when we work together. Mwah. Bye for now.